Yeah, Film Vault. Yes, it's the Film Vault. Welcome back at long last, everyone. Thank you so much for being patient, staying with us, tuning in, downloading, etc., etc. We are back. That's Anderson. I'm Brian Medver, your host for today. Top 5. Well, we have Flickfessions first, of course. Rand Courtney, at long last, will get his due with Flickfest. Enduring Love, a movie I was not familiar with until this last couple weeks. Also, hold on. What?
I mean, you don't have to say that, really, about any movie.
Well, that was Boiler. That was a drop. Avery played that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes, there are many episodes.
Because, anytime you bring up any movie, like, it's just we know that you're not very familiar with it.
Weird, the Yankovic Story, and also I'll do a little pre-fliction on a movie that I'm very excited to Flickfest with Anderson. I think you're all excited to hear it too. The Menu.
The Menu.
So much swirling.
A lot of swirling.
Much swirling.
Yes, I've read. I would like to see some swirling, and I feel like I'm going to enjoy what I see, I think I'm going to enjoy it.
Well, it's a weird movie where you're going to enjoy a lot of what you see. You're going to hate a lot of what you see. Mm-hmm. Like, you're really going to have a problem with some of this.
Speaking of swirling, I probably should have talked about this off air, but tomorrow night, I am very excited to be sitting down with you to watch a Christmas classic, Brian. It will have already taken place by the time this airs, but you and I are going to be watching. It's a dance musical.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Called Just Friends.
There's dancing numbers.
Yes. And I'm not looking forward to it.
I am.
I'm looking forward to watching your delight, and I like to rage every now and again. Vent. I will be venting throughout. Because
what if you give it? You should have a drink.
Not a well-made movie. That's exactly why I brought this up. I thought maybe just to pour salt in my own wound. I was thinking on the way over here tonight, maybe this is a time where I should be swirling.
Oh, interesting.
So if you can recommend a wine or maybe bring a bottle.
I would love to.
And I will swirl. I will endure. Just get it all out of your system, because this is the last time this will be happening. And this is like a welcome back to the living to you. It's my gift, yes, that I'm giving you, letting you torture me while watching your favorite film of all time and watching me swirl.
What if you like it?
The swirling?
Yeah.
No.
Swirl life. Hashtag swirl life.
There's no liking that. And I already know I don't like the movie.
What if it's just this perfect storm where it all just sort of melds together?
This alchemy.
So the swirling is to bring out the flavors and the notes. I understand that.
A little air in there.
Mm-hmm. I want to do a taste test, or I do a little taste before the swirl and then post swirl.
Oh yeah, you should be able to tell.
And let's see if
depends on the wine, of course. Like, you can't do a cheap wine; it's going to taste bad no matter what. But like good wine, yeah, you'll be able to tell.
And you haven't spent years refining your palate like Brian, so I don't know if it'll.
That's true.
Hey, Brian, it's really good to see you back.
Thanks, buddy. Glad to be back.
You're on vacation, right?
Yeah. I took a little trip.
Was it
to the emergency room?
Mount Sinai?
Cedar Sinai.
Mount Sinai.
Like, you're not good about Sinai.
You went to Israel, yeah.
That's right.
So I'm suggesting you went on vacation. Wall.
What?
I'm suggesting you went on vacation.
No, I did not. I was admitted to the... so the day we were supposed to record the last episode, we were remote because I was suffering from severe flu symptoms. Yes. And Anderson got one look at me on the old video chat over there, which we were about to record. I was ready to go. I had notes. I had everything. And we were setting things up, and technically it wasn't going so well, but that's not anything new. Anderson looks at me on the video there and he goes, buddy, you really look bad, like worse than normal.
Yes. And then I said, but let's try and make this work. Go get some cords.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Pop a zinc and let's make this happen.
Drink an orange juice, for God's sakes, Brian. Come on, lift yourself up. Let's go. No, as our discussion continued, and I said this on all the shows that we did, and we had a lot of people help out to keep the show rolling. Avery helped out. These are all people that you're probably going to be upset with, especially years from now. You'll be like, remember when I was on my deathbed and you continue doing episodes without me?
Is that a drop? I've already said that.
But no, thanks to all the people, Mike, Tyler, Avery, Giovanni. We had a spirited conversation. Giovanni and I on the Patreon only episode. That was fun. That was a good time.
It was good.
I got to tell you.
Does he have thoughts on films?
I actually listened to that back while I was in Iceland, and I was laughing throughout. Gio is such a character.
It was an atypical show, and it was great.
It was fun. I think it was very fun.
It's like behind the film vault almost.
Behind the film wall.
So Yeah, it's good. It's good to see you. It's good. It's good to be back. It's unfortunate that I have not seen as many movies as you. It's a very awkward feeling I have right now.
It's a strange inversion.
But we're gonna talk movies. We're gonna get into it. I'm sorry I had to get out there and see the world. I had to see how the Icelanders live, Brian. I had to see some of these Icelandic horses.
Hear all about it. Top 5 ice scenes, movies. What are we calling
Icelandic scenes shot in Iceland.
Okay.
Is what we're calling it, and I got the locations and
so scenes. I went with films.
Sorry, either one works really, and maybe we'll switch it to scene. Whatever looks sexier in the topic.
I
title.
can only go with scenes. Based on the films that I've seen.
Yeah, there's probably like 1 or 2 movies, and you just picked like 3 or 4 scenes.
I have the same movie twice.
So yeah, I in doing my research and then continuing the research while I was there, and then finishing up my research after I got back, it was really fun seeing all these places now that I'm familiar with in Iceland.
It must be cool to like start the research, go to the place, finish.
Yeah. Because a lot of these places, like I was researching while I was there. Like I was at Black Sand Beach, in Vic, beautiful city of Vic. And I was doing a little bit of late night research because the sun goes down around 3:30, and so it was like
so late nights, like
5:30. Yeah. And I was in the hotel lobby with a bunch of travelers who were like college age kids who were like wearing robes and whatnot. It was like a really plush, upscale lobby that had a hostel.
Okay.
And all the hostel kids were just hanging around. So that was fun, sipping a beer and watching them.
Swirling.
And there's no swirling. And researching, and then by the time I got back, like, all the research that I'd done, which was like foreign to me, like now I know all of these spots.
Right.
I went to pretty much all of them. So
I'm curious how much crossover we're going to have in our top 5 later, and also how many of the locales, the locations you are familiar with.
Yeah, and I will have a little information on all of them. And let me just say this: if you're thinking about maybe taking a trip to Europe, I highly recommend checking out Iceland. It is beautiful. I went on and on and on about it on the last after disaster, where I just spoke for the entire hour and a half or whatever about my trip.
Was that where you were remote and taking up all the air?
What was that?
You were talking a lot.
Oh yeah, remote and taking up all the air.
You were remote. You were doing it from Iceland.
Yeah. Well, I was doing it from Copenhagen.
Okay.
A shutdown bar that I snuck into, and I was just sitting in the bar by myself, just expounding on my love of Iceland in particular, and all. And going in the winter or late fall, as it were, is ups and downs. I mean, it's super cold, and you don't have a whole lot of light there, but it's also fairly empty. It's
there's no one in your way.
Yeah, which I think that it's a good trade-off. I would rather be bundled up and cold and chasing the light than waiting in line during the daytime. So, but I would love to see that place where the sun. Because my buddy Mickey was there shooting Oblivion, which I don't want to talk too much about yet. Back in 2013, he was there for like months, like 2-3 months, I think. And he said, they shot during when it's magic hour for like 5-6 hours at a time. We saw some of that too. Like it's magic hour for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And here we get it for 15 minutes maybe on a good day. But they were there when the sun would just kind of crest down underneath like the mountaintop, and then it would just come back up. Yeah, they could watch it actually make that movement.
Like 2 hours of nighttime?
No, not
it's
2
none,
hours.
Right?
It's like 5 minutes. Like they watch the sun
like
dip
Twilight.
and then come right back up.
You get a taste of blue hour, and that's it.
Yeah, blue hour.
No one's ever yelling, "We're losing sunlight."
Well, I'm sure that there's still light is changing, but yeah, I got to walk on a glacier and go on like ice caves and.
Nice.
Many Icelandic people and beautiful, nice, fantastic, just beautiful people everywhere, and very nice people for the most part. And it's a great city that a lot of people, country that a lot of people forget about. I think they go to Europe and they go to fucking Paris and they think they've seen Europe, and it's like there's a lot of other cool stuff out there. So Iceland, beautiful place.
I'm in. I love it.
Beautiful place. Yeah,
I would consider that.
Beautiful place.
Any direct flights?
No, not from LA. Not at the moment. I think there used to be, but not at the moment.
Are
maybe they have them in the summer.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was going to say, because they're more popular than ever. It's kind of blown up recently from what I've heard.
What's crazy is there's only 320,000 people that live there right now, or so, 320 to 340.
In the whole country?
And in the whole country. Bakersfield has a bigger population than all of Iceland.
My God.
And it took us...
Who's prettier, Icelanders or Bakersfield?
I had some great times when I was in
Don't
Bakersfield.
answer that. Got some loyal fans in Bakersfield.
It took us 9 days to drive all the way around the country. It's a pretty big country. It's a pretty big island nation. I was in the car 4 or 5 hours a day, going very slow at times. I wasn't topping over like 80 kilometers an hour because like the conditions. But oh, dude, we would do bets. Like Atticus and I and Jillian would be leaving a restaurant, and we'd be like, all right, like an hour back to the hotel or little country inn that we were staying in, or whatever, and we take bets on how many cars we're gonna pass on the way back.
Okay.
And Atticus would usually say 0.
He'd price us right you.
And he would win very often.
Wow.
We would just drive.
Savvy kid.
We drove for like 4 hours at one point and didn't see a single car. We just saw horses and sheep.
Because all the locals are just inside at that point.
Yeah,
right?
they're like, fuck it, we're not going outside.
Can you imagine breaking down?
Dude, the car rental place, and forgive me if you heard me talking about this on the After Disaster, but
no one listens.
Unfortunately, I had to deal with 2 separate car rental places.
I heard about this
because of
on the After Disaster.
A misstep on someone's part, probably theirs. And so I got this lecture 2 times from 2 different car rental places. When you open the door, make sure you hold onto the handle.
That's crazy.
Because many, many times
the wind gusts are so powerful.
The customer will come back with hyperextended doors, essentially, that just don't close anymore. And I experienced this firsthand when I was in, once again, Black Sand Beach. I went down to this little area to get some takeaway food, and got out of the car, and I was holding it on, and I could barely. And then I got it closed, and the wind cut back the other way. My leg was out.
Oh no!
If it was Jillian's leg or Atticus's leg, it broken almost for sure. And I could not open the door again, and it was just closing on my leg. Just really hard. And I finally got it open, and it slammed shut. And then we're just sitting there. I'm like, I can't believe how badly that hurt. And the whole car is just rocking back and forth, and it's pitch black.
Did it enter your mind, how am I going to get this door open again?
I did. I was thinking, like, am I going to break my leg here? Am I going to break my leg? Because I cannot get this door shut. Yeah, it was fun.
What kind of cars do they rent over there? Crazy, like Volvos or
Dusters are a big thing over there. I got a bunch of Dusters.
What is a Duster?
I'm not sure. I didn't get one.
You've been there.
I got a Ford. I don't know. I got some kind of Ford. It had like 250,000 kilometers on it. I don't know.
They've got a bunch of weird stuff that we don't have.
But the Duster, I don't even know what the brand was.
Thank you, Avery, for that input.
They do.
But they've got like one of the best cars I've ever been in. It's like, and they're weird names like the Qashqai, the Nissan Qashqai.
It's not a real.
It's like a mid-size SUV, a full glass ceiling, and it's one of the nicest, most comfortable rides I've been in. Automatically does lane assist, the speed detects the speed limit.
The Ford we had was like a cooler.
Has the HUD on the windshield where it'll show you the crazy.
Oh, I think that's just modern. I think a lot of cars are getting like that now.
The Qashqai.
We had a Kugel, and then Jimmys are a big thing whenever I go out of the country. A lot of people get the Jimmys.
Qashqai with a Q.
Yes.
Jimmys are not legal, I guess, in the U.S. because of
they're big in Australia,
Suzuki's.
right?
I don't know.
Maybe. Don't they have? I know Australia has some weird truck hybrids.
We loved it. We had a Jimmy in Costa Rica, and we loved it. Really cute little car. Jimmy's. Wow. Jimmy's are pretty tight. All right, let's talk movies. Yeah,
not Jimmy Carter. Goddamn.
Avery's Googling Jimmy Carter.
So before we get into the meat of the episode, you guys wanted to, well, number one, like I said earlier, thank you for sticking with us, downloading the show, continuing to support us through the Amazon link. And that leads me to my next point, which is we have a lot to make up on time-wise. We got movies, Amazon stuff. I wanted to ask you, Anderson, we have several weeks of Amazon click-through purchases to go through, including Black Friday, Cyber Monday, et cetera, et cetera.
Want to do an entire episode?
I was going to say, do you want to do a large chunk of Amazon, or should I try and break this up over a few? I don't know what to do. I'm asking you for what was the list?
I'd like to do it now. Let's do an Amazon read on this show, but I guess that's not. I don't know how to answer your question because
you're going to have a list of about 300 movies.
All right, let's do it. That's fine. That's fun.
That was your dream, as Anderson's dream one day. Was
1,000
movies. I just want to do an episode where I read a list of movies.
1,000 of my favorite movies.
Not comment on them, just read a list.
Read the list of 1,000 of my favorite movies.
Like counting sheep.
Yeah.
Platoon. JFK.
No, JFK would not be on there.
Oh, it's just a list of movies and no commentary.
No, they got to be my top 1,000.
Oh,
it's not just arbitrary titles.
JFK's not the top 1,000?
No.
Really?
Why am I being
That's a lot of movies.
Harassed, harangued? Stop it! Why the multiple texts? Just text me once.
I want to get back to the fact that JFK isn't amongst the top 1,000 films you've ever seen.
No.
1,000 movies is a lot of movies.
More.
More is not.
More's on the bubble.
How do you turn? I don't know how to.
Do you have a new phone?
I got this a while ago.
Is that crazy European phone?
No, it's just an iPhone. Jillian lost her phone the day before her birthday, so she, in the one airport that we had to do a layover in Frankfurt, and that's a whole other story. Jesus Christ. guy on the plane, the cleaner, he answered the phone. He's like, yes, I'm at this gate. I couldn't get there, even though I ran 1.5 miles or so to get there, but I didn't have my boarding pass to go into that terminal, so I couldn't get to him. Plus, my flight was about to leave, so the guy said, should we call them back? And he says, totally fine, don't worry, we have a great lost and found. I'll just turn in the lost and found right now. You can go on the website. Great. We do so. They're like, yeah, we don't have a phone by that description, so her phone might just be in Frankfurt forever. I don't know. Okay.
On missed calls.
Do we have any Flickfessions?
Oh, we do.
Oh, 3 weeks worth.
But yeah, like just throw me the Amazon, and we'll do it like on the next episode. How about that? Can we do it in the next episode?
I don't know what the next episode is, but sure.
Fantastic. All right, let me set
curious.
Avery up with the bit here, and let's go.
We have music for this?
Fanfliction, compiled by thee.
You sound like Shirley Bassey. Fanfliction.
Mitch Burns. Ryan Fisher, The Menu. Never has a movie so deliberately paced kept me on the edge of my seat. Captivating performances, imagery, tone, and style.
There's a lot of style in that movie.
Mark Woods, I took my kids to Strange World. The world Disney created is very unique and interesting, but the storyline was not exceptional. Also very heavy-handed messaging, in my opinion. My kids enjoyed it. My wife and I thought it was okay. You can do worse for a family film.
Kids.
That's a real opposite of backhanded compliment. It's fainting, damning with faint praise for a Disney film.
Yeah,
say you could do better or you could do worse.
This was one of the worst Disney releases of all time.
I
Wasn't it?
didn't bother. I haven't seen it yet.
Matthew Cheatham. First, I saw Devotion. The flight scenes and cinematography were great. However, the story was clunky, scattered, and predictable. Brainiac 138 saw Wonder on Netflix. I don't think a film has come close to being ruined by its framing device, especially one that basically states you're about to watch a film. No shit, Sherlock. Once you get past that and the weird fourth wall break in the middle, you get a beautiful but slow film with about the internalized grief of one family standing for the trauma of the whole Irish nation after the potato famine. Skadooshit. Spirited was a unique spin on A Christmas Carol. Oh boy.
That's Avery.
With some nice song and dance routines, but the chemistry between Will Ferrell's and Octavia Spencer's characters felt completely inauthentic.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why are they dancing?
Why is any of it happening?
Is it a Ryan Reynolds thing? Like he demands it maybe when he's on set?
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Spirited looks like a movie that I will never, ever, ever, ever look at.
It would be your hell.
The advertisement still photo for it that is showing up on my Roku TV every time I just try and I'm innocently turning on my television to watch something not Spirited, and I have to see that picture. And I think how much thought went into that, and a lot of thought probably went into that.
I had severe whiplash because my parents were like, "We haven't seen the new Top Gun. Well, I'll watch the new Top Gun." I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll have some turkey and watch Top Gun. And then I get there, finish the food. They're like, "Actually, we're gonna watch Spirited." Like, fuck.
No.
What? And this was, I don't think my daddy
Can't
even told
you
me.
say
He just pressed start.
I produce a very, very successful film podcast, guys. And
all
I'm
the
going
old
to,
people were just unanimously in.
Okay,
It's based on A Christmas Carol. Did you know it's based on A Christmas Carol?
That's it. That brings up an interesting question. I was just thinking about this as you said that in my own personal life.
Oh my God, Florence did an episode with me. I forgot about Florence. God damn it!
Did she do two?
No, she did an episode.
Well, she did Red Light, Green Light on two of them.
No, yeah, she did. Yeah, so she was on 2 episodes, and she did a whole episode with just me and her.
What was the
and it was
topic?
fucking great. It was great.
What did you guys talk about?
I can't remember.
Horror films?
We did so many. No, it wasn't just horror films. I did so many things. Oh, when I was gone, what was the topic? What did we
Was
do?
this general? My question is, sorry, did you curate a topic for your guests, or was it just general film chit?
It was
I
film
think you guys
chit-chat.
both just did Flickfessions.
Yeah,
you
we
talked
did
Terrifier
Flickfessions.
2
Yeah.
and Barbarian.
Okay, so I did do Barbarian. I gave it a proper, so I'm not going to do that with Brian. Okay.
What about Terrifier 2? Give me a thumbnail.
No, I'm not doing any more terror. Because I did it with Florence. I did it with Giovanni. I'm not going to do it with you.
I'm the host of the show.
I'm done banging around, Bri. You see what I'm saying?
Good,
like
good
I
or
stepped
bad?
out
Yay-
on you,
yay
now
or
I
nay?
come back, and
Yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay.
Fuck
Yay, nay,
yay.
or okay.
Fuck yay. But apparently it's only for people who don't like horror.
Don't like horror.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What does that mean? Expound on that for 10 minutes.
I've been told that if you're a horror fan, you will see the problems with this one. You won't like it. So I
it's
guess
for
it's
you.
an identifier for the wannabe. I'm not a wannabe horror. There's plenty of things that I enjoyed in that movie.
Well, you're not. You wouldn't lead with, "Hey, I'm Anderson Cowan. I love movies. I'm a big horror movie fan."
No, of course not. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's for you.
I guess so. Yeah. But
Spirited.
it's for very few people. It's for very few people. But apparently, the real horror fans do not like it. Is what I'm hearing. Okay. Whatever. Terrifier 2.
Is that the end of fan fliction?
That is the end.
Let's jump off there, and I'll do a pre-fliction, half-fliction, faux fliction on The Menu, 2022 film directed by Mark Mylod. Quite the career evolution, Anderson. Mark, his debut was Ali G Into House. He directed The Big White, which I had not heard of, starring Robin Williams.
You don't have to say you haven't heard of something.
That's true. Have you heard
You
of
can
it?
just say that. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see it?
No.
Okay. He also directed What's Your Number, a passable rom-com. Anyone see What's Your Number? Chris Evans and someone else.
No.
About
never
how
heard
many
of it.
people they'd slept with. And it's a whole thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I have not seen it.
It's fairly.
It's a rom-com.
It's nothing special. And here we are at The Menu. Pretty really enjoyable movie, starring Anna Taylor-Joy, Ray Fiennes, Nicholas Hoult, Hong Chow, Janet McTeer. I gotta turn my brightness up a little.
Okay.
Janet McTeer, John Leguizamo, Judith Light. I cannot tell you with any confidence the last time I have seen Judith Light. It may have been in an episode of Who's the Boss, which is many, many years ago. But here she is in The Menu. 88% of Rotten Tomatoes. This is in theaters now. Alexander Payne, originally attached to direct. Can you imagine?
I can't imagine.
Can you imagine?
It seems like not a very Alexander Payne-y film.
Pain-free.
It seems pain-free.
Ever you see it?
I did
From
not.
I'm the only one who's seen it.
Because it seems like it's fairly involved and there's a whole lot of like action sequences taking place. I mean, he makes like home cooked type movies, you know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
this
it took him like 7 movies to get out of Nebraska. Like all of his movies took place in Nebraska.
I would
his
like
hometown.
to see a Alexander Payne version of this. That said, I can't imagine it being much better than the Mark Mylod version, which is very good. I don't want to talk too much about this because this involves. So this is sort of. If you've seen the trailer, you get the idea. But these 12 people descend upon a very exclusive restaurant. Think the French Laundry, but on an island. Like you have to be boated there by a boat that only leaves or comes and goes once. They put you there for dinner. It's $1,200 a head, and they make a sort of bespoke dinner with a theme. It's very bougie, very highfalutin, as some might say. I loved it. I wanted to go there. I want to be there right now. I want to be there at all times.
Yeah, you just want to, because you like your high dining.
I do. I'm exaggerating. This is something more of a bucket list.
You only want to be
item.
there like half the time?
No, where I was like, oh, I would love to try that once. I don't think that's outrageous to go
Do
there.
they serve whale at this place?
No, it's very inventive.
Would you
food.
try whale if you went to this place?
I'd try anything they gave me.
Human?
At one point, no, I can't even give that away.
Is this something that we're going to have to see together?
Yes.
Or, I
Oh,
mean,
fuck yes. My next opportunity to assign you a film will be this, unless you take it upon yourself to see it, which you should, because not only is it very good, this is a movie that I alluded to earlier will delight you throughout and also enrage you throughout. You will be very upset at certain characters, the things they do and say, the way they comport themselves.
Will he be deliberately upset, or is this, it'll just rub him the wrong way?
What's the difference?
Is it designed to infuriate Anderson?
Oh,
Or will it
yes,
just
yes,
be
yes.
is that just a...
Wait, we were talking about Glass Onion. Yes, these characters are delightfully one-dimensional. Like there's like stock market tech bros, you know what I mean, at one table, and they're there because their boss knows the guy.
So
you
they
know?
have the typecast of all the type of
Yeah,
people
and
that
then
you
like
would
John
like to see be
Leguizamo's
punished.
a famous actor, but he's kind of past his prime. Little Nicolas Cage, maybe. Think about that. He's got like, the young girl who works for him, but she's also his
Maybe
date.
he's little John Leguizamo.
John Nicholas Hoult is a real foodie. I mean, he's talking about gastronomy and he's talking about mouthfeel. And Anya Taylor-Joy
He's
is
the
his,
Brian stand-in.
Yeah.
He's
Sounded nice.
he's a smart guy. He's got a point.
Really funny.
Anya Taylor-Joy is his date, perhaps a new relationship, and they are sort of finding their way to this dinner. And then there's Judith Light and her husband, who is a very rich couple who go there very often. So it's there's a lot of half baked, but intentionally so. Like these characters are archetypes, but you're supposed to think of them as archetypes. Like they represent those people. I know those people. I hate those people.
Yeah.
I know those people. Those people suck.
Right.
So really well done. This is an enjoyable movie. You can find it playing near you. I highly recommend you go check it out.
Funny what you described. There's a fine line. If you do that wrong or in the wrong kind of movie, like you can get lambasted for it. But
Completely.
Sometimes it absolutely works and is necessary to tell a larger story.
You know why I think it works, especially because number one, the Ralph Fiennes and especially the Anna Taylor-Joy characters are very well developed. These are characters we really get into, and the interplay between them specifically is what holds the whole.
Yeah.
It's the sun to this solar system.
Now, do you ever feel like that in real life? Like you are well developed and you're around a bunch of one-dimensional people?
The opposite.
Because I feel like that quite often.
Okay.
Like I'm just around a bunch of dead weight, and these people have nothing to offer.
Like the show?
Not like this shit. No.
They're unnamed characters. It's like guy on.
But
bike.
like when I go, like when I work in large groups, or like I have to do things with like large groups of just strangers. A lot of time, I'm just like, how do these people get by? Like, how do they have anyone that wants to sit down and talk with them? Now I know.
Do you ever think about that? What are they talking about when I'm not here? What's going on with that conversation?
Like, how bad could it
How
be?
dare
I'm
they?
like, I'm keeping this conversation going right
I'm
now.
wondering.
What would they do
know what I'm
without me?
saying? Should I not be admitting this? But I mean, that's how I feel a lot of the time with a lot of people. And it's not like they're bad people. They just they're vapid. They're vapid. They have nothing to offer.
In as much as I think you
Oh, yeah.
love any movie that can provoke a reaction,
I do.
even though
I'm a
hate,
provocateur,
you will
bro.
hate some of these characters.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna love this movie.
Well, I mean, isn't that the point? From what I gather from what I've read about it and seen, it seems like they set you up to hate these people who are then abused.
they go through some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always satisfying. Well, not always, but most of the time, very satisfying.
I'm gonna
Speaking of
say
foodies,
I'm gonna say one word: s'mores.
okay,
That's
it's an
it.
inside joke that I don't get yet. I don't like this feeling at all. I don't like it at all. I didn't mean a little bit. It sucks. But Iceland's rules, and that's that small price that I got to pay, is feeling this pain and this shame right now. Speaking of foodies, speaking of food, speaking of shitheads who eat food, wrong kind of food. There's something in Iceland called hakarl, I think it's called.
Hakarl?
Hakarl.
Okay.
Hakarl. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. Like we stayed at one place, and it's Hara, and I'm like, how do you pronounce this? We've been calling it Harsumra. And she's like, no, it's Trach. I'm like, you get CH out of HAR? So yeah, Icelandic language
It
is very
manifests
tough.
itself different ways.
But there's this shark that they eat over there, and they've only been doing it for a little bit over 100 years or so, and it's the Greenland shark primarily. They do use other sleeper sharks, but it's the Greenland shark primarily that they use to harvest this hakarl, which it's over 100 years ago. The Icelanders started eating it very traditionally during like Christmas dinner, from what I understand.
I'm sorry. Are they eating the shark? Or are they
Yeah, they're
using
eating the shark.
shark?
They're eating the shark, the little,
Okay.
little cubes of the shark.
Those things live a long time.
Yes, they do.
Isn't that kind of fucked up that they're killing them?
Very fucked up.
I was going to say.
So
it's like killing a Galapagos tortoise.
they
to
are
eat.
what Avery. I'm shocked that you know that. It's great that you know that. Yeah, they are the longest living vertebrate on the planet. They don't become sexually mature till 150 years old. They
It's a long time to wait.
Jesus.
routine like 150-year-old green shark is like a hot teen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 100-year-old one comes around like come back in 50 years, baby.
They routinely live to 450 years old. And
Jesus.
they have so much ammonia. They urinate in very unique, strange, not much ways, so that their body and their tissues are just filled with ammonia, which
Jesus.
is poisonous. And if you eat it just fresh, even if you cook it, I don't know how whoever
I saw this
discovered
on The Simpsons.
I don't know how no, that's the blowfish. That's something different. But somehow they figured out, like, hey, if we eat this Greenland shark just like the way it is, we'll die. Like, because Carl over there just ate some and he's dead.
Good. Fuck off.
And they kept going. They're like, but maybe there's a way. So they figured out that pressing it, they like use like large like lava rocks back in the day to press it and get all of the ammonia out for like weeks.
They
But-
literally
okay.
squeeze the piss out of it.
Squeeze the piss out of it.
How
then
good
they,
is this fucking shark?
And then they
Because there are fish that require a lot less effort.
They
then
have to
they
wait
hang it.
150 years to squeeze the pee out of it.
Then they hang it and they get more of it out, and then after
I saw
months
this on the menu.
it ferments and essentially rots. So now you're eating rotten shark flesh, and apparently then you don't get sick, even though what it's become in recent years is like a tourist, like, once you go to Iceland, you gotta try this hakarl, have some, or however you say it. And people there's videos all over the internet of people going, ew, I'm eating this 400-year-old fish and it tastes gross, blah, and spitting it out. And it's just like,
Ugly Americans.
When it began, it was like, traditional. What are you going to do? They catch this Greenland shark that's off their coast, and they found a way to eat it somehow. But now it's just like a touristy, like funny thing, and it's a fucking amazing fish that is being just eaten for the sake of video reaction.
It's like cutting down a redwood.
Fuck no, I did not.
You had
touch.
lamb.
I did eat lots of lamb by mistake. I didn't mean to.
You sure there wasn't some shark in there?
I didn't mean to eat the goddamn lamb. I didn't know hot dogs were made of lamb in Iceland.
The funny part is, you raved about how amazing the hot dogs were. Like you couldn't stop.
They were so good.
And the second
Atticus and I were eating them going, this is the best hot dog I've ever fucking had.
The second you learned it was lamb, you're like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that it was delicious.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, lamb tastes good. I used to eat lamb. Cute,
Obviously.
cuddly little
yeah,
lambs.
it's the last week.
I used to. So anyways, yeah, if you go to Iceland, don't feel like you have to do the traditional, like, I can't tell you how many videos we watched in preparation going to Iceland. Pretty much every single one at one point or another, like the people that are making the video. All right, here we go. We're going to eat this gross, rotten shark. Ew, it's gross. Just don't fucking eat it.
Why? Is it like a TikTok thing?
I sat down with some terrific Icelanders one night over beers. Many
I
of
thought
them.
you were going to say traditional Icelanders.
They were traditional. And the man at the table was explaining how much he loves this particular dish. He only eats it at Christmas time, and he was talking about it's acquired taste. And, like he has to the first few bites are a little bit different, but then as he continues to chew it, it opens up, and I get that, and I'd probably even like it because I love like ocean things and like uni and stuff. But yeah, the fact that it's become like a touristy jokey thing.
That's weird.
It's such a
Oh, it's like a dare. It's like a challenge.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, like you have to do it. When in Rome, eat something gross. All right, so that was just my little aside.
So like
Metalhead is a film that was assigned to me early on as one of the listeners.
By whom?
Procured my services to watch any film of their liking. Nick Eats Cake, if you must know. And at the time, Metalhead was not available anywhere, so he actually sent me the DVD.
Oh, how about
I
that?
probably should have brought it. It was a Korean version too, but it had English subtitles. Metalhead is an Icelandic film, so that's why I squeezed it in before going to Iceland, because you don't come across a whole lot of films that are shot entirely in Iceland by Icelanders. This is written and directed by Rangar Bragason.
I love him.
And it is. We have since Nick Eats Cake and I have since learned that it is streaming now on Canopy, so it is available out there if you look around a little bit. And I can say that this is a very particular type of film. It stars a young girl who sees a tragic event early in the film. The inciting incident, as it were, involves her brother and a tractor, and it doesn't go well. Her brother's a rocker with long hair.
Oh no! Is it like the Incredibles cape scenario?
A little bit like that.
Or the cape.
Yeah, and it's not like you see a whole lot, but you see blood in the back. It's a little bit of about as much blood as you might see in Pulp Fiction in the back of the what's the guy's name? That
Marvin.
takes one? Marvin, yeah.
Shot Marvin in the face.
And that was what she saw. The little sister of this in this Icelandic family. She saw this as a 13-year-old, and it affected her. So the movie becomes about trauma. It becomes about not being able to grow up and leave your home when she lives out the far reaches of Iceland, which is most of Iceland. Pretty much, I think it's 2/3 of the entire nation live in Reykjavik.
Oh, really?
And everyone else kind of scattered.
Spread out.
So, you can't see this, Brian, but Ragnar is bald, and I like it. That scenario was written by a bald man.
Yeah, seriously.
Ragnar Bragason.
Be glad you don't have hair. You'll get
That's
decapitated
right.
by a
All you hair idiots.
So
that's why they call him Metalhead.
Her older brother
embedded.
was a metal guy. He was into metal and like Dio and all the classics. And she going through the grieving and the loss, she's trying to figure out how to get through it, and she gets drawn to black metal, which we know from
Stabby.
Yeah, from watching.
What's that called again?
Oh my God, I love that movie. Well, I'm drawing a blank on the name. We just watched it last year, thanks to Tyler Mayer.
Was it last year or this year?
Lords of Chaos.
Lords of Chaos. Thank you. So yeah, she gets drawn to that, and she's trying to pay homage to her brother essentially by becoming a musician, and one thing leads to another, and she goes through some things, and she's problematic to say the least. And there are church burnings that were occurring at this time in Norway and other parts of Scandinavia because of the black metal. That was what was leading it. There's this beautiful quiet scene until it's not quiet, where she's in a barn playing metal with her guitar, electric guitar, and there's just a reaction of all the cows watching her play, which is obviously farms are a real thing, but like while in Iceland, we pulled off to the side where there was supposed to be a restaurant that was open, but it was not. Well, that happened time and time again. We go places where there'd just be no food for like an hour and a half. Like nothing was open. And then we get to a place and it said it was open on Google, and then it wasn't open when we got there. This was one of those places where it was a restaurant attached to a farm with cows, and you can sit and have like milk and crumpets or food and whatnot, and see through the window of the cows who were eating the hay.
Crazy,
so we went there. The restaurant was closed, but the barn part was open, and it had a sign say, "Please come in and feel free to come in and pet our cows." So we just went inside the barn, and we're just hanging out, taking pictures with the cows and petting them. And so it was a scene like that, except she's in full like regalia and metal face with the paint. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see the poster here.
And then it's about healing, and it's about how her parents are going through it. It's a very, very Icelandic film. I thought that before going to Iceland, and I think that even more so now. So I recommend. I didn't quite buy the end that happened, but I guess it's the best way for that movie to have ended. I didn't quite. But there's dancing, Brian. Let me just leave it at
thank
that.
God.
Some dancing, but she was very good. She was very, very good. I'm not going to pronounce her name properly, but I'll give it a shot. I'll take a stab at it. Her name is Thora Bjorga Helga. Not bad.
That's not bad.
Bjorga.
Stream on Canopy.
Yes, it's on Canopy, which is a regional thing. But if you have I keep telling you guys, if you have a library card, please take advantage of Canopy and Hoopla. They are two very, very good libraries. So yeah, Metalhead. Thank you, Nick Eats Cake, for assigning me that, and he's assigning you and I another movie probably early in the new year. You and I are going to watch another movie on Nick Eats Cake's recommendation. Yes. All right, Brian. Do you want to do the next one that also involves an inciting incident? Maybe more so than any movie I've ever seen.
Let's talk about this. Assigned to us by
Courtney Rand.
I thought it was Rand Courtney.
Courtney Rand. I say it backwards.
Enduring Love is a 2004 film assigned to us.
I almost did this without you, which I realized that I would not. And I talked to Rand, and he's like, "Yeah, that would have pissed me off." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't blame you. I wouldn't blame you." He wants to hear you, hear your take for some reason as well.
Director I'm going to say Robert Michel, director of Notting Hill, starring Daniel Craig, Reese. Am I pronouncing this right? Reese Ifans. Samantha Morton and Bill Nighy is also in this film.
Reese's Pieces.
No.
59% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
You can rent this.
So stupid.
I thought it was better than that too. This movie has an audacious opening, which Anderson just alluded to, an inciting incident. Mm-hmm. We open, we're beautiful rolling green fields in the British countryside, and a couple, Daniel Craig and his, is it Samantha Morton? It is Samantha Morton. No, who's his girlfriend?
Yes, Samantha Morton.
Thank God. Daniel Craig and Samantha Morton. It's been a couple of weeks, and a near-death experience. Oh, near-death experience. I'm about to describe one.
Not near-death.
Well, it's near-death for some. You're right.
Yeah.
Death for others.
Death for others.
Near death for some.
Listen,
for others.
I don't want to belittle this opening scene, and I don't want it to get lost in the weeds because it is something to behold.
I will not forget it.
Yeah, never.
It has left an impression.
I mean, it's worth the price of admission, I think. Even if the rest of the movie was just like whiteboard and tone, like at least you get that first 15, 20 minutes.
So Daniel Craig and Samantha Morton are out on a picnic. Mm-hmm. They got the blanket, they got the picnic basket, the wine. He brought a bottle of Dom. He brought the Dom Perignon. He's looking for his trying to open.
Why not Cristal?
Dom is far better.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I set him up to upset me.
He's peeling the foil. He's trying to figure out how to open this thing. And all of a sudden, a giant, a hot air balloon skimming along the grass, not in the air, skimming along the grass, but fully inflated, passes by their purview. And they're like, what the fuck? And there's an old man, oldish man, middle-aged old man, who is chasing this runaway balloon. He's hanging on for dear life.
Is anyone inside?
There is a young boy inside. There is a boy of about 11-ish, inside, and the old man is desperately trying to wrangle this gigantic balloon. And Daniel Craig's like, what the fuck? I got to help that guy. And he and a couple of other, I guess, passerby looky-loos, we find out a little more about them as the film goes on, attempt to, again, wrangle this
hot air balloon
but to safety. And at one point, they kind of get it under control. You're like, oh, thank God. But then the wind kicks. No, the kid like accidentally pull the fire.
He pulls the fire. They're like, what are you doing? You dumb fuck, stop doing that. And then they get to the point where he's not pulling the fire anymore. It looks like everything's good. And then they hear the rustling. There's a great moment where they all look towards the trees, and the trees all start blowing. And it's like, and then it just fucking takes off. So they're all holding on. There's like 5, 6 adults.
4 strangers plus the old man.
And if
I think.
I was watching this thinking like, maybe if Morton got in there, none of this would have happened. Samantha, what are you doing? Why are you a bystander? Why are you just watching? Get on that rope. So anyways, they're all holding
hands on deck, goddammit.
They're all holding on. And then
the thing takes flight.
And somebody lets go. And then somebody else and then they all let go, but for one. He holds on. And then it's just, and the way that, and it's not done in the typical Hollywood, like intense music, trying to ramp it up. This
is all very ordinary.
And it's almost beautiful. And I think there might even been like a little piano or strings as he's just kind of drifting into
higher.
Yes. And you can see that he can't,
into the stratosphere.
He's not going to be able to hold on much longer. Yeah. The kid is like, in there he's still. Helpless. And this guy is just like, he realizes he's the only one who held on. He's fucked now. James Bond and the rest of them are on the ground watching, right? Daniel Craig. And then he slips and he falls, and he falls in the field, and it all becomes very real, and it feels real when they come upon his body.
They happen upon it.
He's like sitting upright in this field, this beautiful field, picturesque
field.
Part
of him is.
And he's like, he's got like some what do you call it? The bones
Guts?
When the bones stick out. What are they called?
Compound
fractures all over his body, and he's dead, and it's just what he looked very realistic as far as what impact might do to the human body. And the rest of the movie is primarily about
that's 5 minutes into the film.
Yeah,
that's minute 6.
It might be that early on, and then
it's like minute 8. It's right there at the beginning.
The rest of the movie is, you think it's going to be about Craig's character trying to deal with this.
Well, it is in a sense,
but it becomes a little more convoluted for my taste, and that's where it kind of lost me a little bit.
Yeah, that's where the wheels came off of it.
But I still really, really enjoyed this movie.
Is it a spoiler to say why it becomes convoluted?
So there's strangers at this there's the 4 or 5 strangers trying to hold this balloon down, and one of them comes back into the picture and starts bugging Daniel Craig. Reese Evans does, and it becomes more about that than I would have liked to have just stayed on track. Now, it's based on a novel, and I think more things are probably fleshed out in the novel, and maybe it made more sense. There is a lot of subtlety here. There's a lot of beautiful direction here. There's a lot of intention. It's one of these movies where every single thing on the screen is put there for a reason. There's a scene where the Reese Evans character, who from Spider-Man, he was one of the villains. Yeah,
he's very recognizable.
You'd see him and you'd know his face, and like he's one of the guys that was holding on the balloon, right? And Daniel Craig sees him across the street. He calls him up and says, "I need to talk to you right now," because he's also having problems. Reese Evans, they're all having problems from dealing with this trauma.
Tragedy.
Yeah. And there's a scene where a woman's walking by him, and Daniel Craig's looking at him across the street, and Reese Evans standing there across the street looking in his window, and a woman walks by, and she's holding a bag of oranges, and they all like burst out of her bag. It's like a static shot, and Reese can't even be bothered to like help this woman with all of these little, and I think that it was done purposely. I think that was all. I don't think it was a broken take. I think the director said, where this woman's going to walk by a bunch of oranges, it's going to make you think about like a balloon perhaps, or a bunch of balloons, and he can't even be bothered to help this woman pick up one fucking balloon, whereas before he was risking his life with the other guys to try to get this balloon down. So little subtle things like that. It shows real Daniel Craig's. Definitely, he's got a lot to work with here, and I think that he executes, and we see his range.
He's great.
And ultimately,
there's a very un-Daniel Craig character that I've come to know.
And there's like a lot of discussion, like he's a writer and like he gets into, and
he's a professor. He's a professor of writing.
And professor of writing, and he writes, and he's dating a sculptor, like she sculpts, and he writes, and Bill Nighy is also great in this, and he's talking about how he's never done anything that's tangible, right? And he was trying to hold on to this rope, and then he has the rope burns, and it really is ultimately about letting go. Like that's what the entire movie's about, is about letting go.
Yeah.
And how to do so.
There's some really good stuff in here, like Anderson's describing. There's some stuff that just felt from another movie, like that didn't need to be a part of this. I felt like this movie had Hitchcock aspirations, and it just didn't have enough lead in its pencil.
I think it's a problem with it being a novel and not being adapted as well as it could have been, or maybe a lot of the time, novels are just so great and you just can't really give them the same.
There were certain elements that could have used more sunshine, you know what I mean, more fleshing out, and there are certain elements that just didn't need to be a part of the movie.
I agree. If you like What About Bob, but you thought it was too funny, this is a dramatic version of What About Bob.
That is,
yeah,
it's absolutely that, right?
It's got that Hitchcock thing where it's like that stranger who ends up in your life all of a sudden now won't leave your life.
Like it should say, like people also enjoyed What About Bob, because there's a lot of similarities.
I enjoyed him. I'm not enjoyed, but I liked Daniel Craig being racked with survivor's guilt, trying to reconcile that. Going to see the wife of the guy who died because he couldn't just,
And there's also a wrinkle there as well, which was very interesting, and that got me back in. I did tire with the Reese Ifans character and the back and forth there and the stalker behavior.
It was
didn't quite land.
Yeah. It was one note when the rest of the movie was very complex.
A lot of eating scenes, which is rare for a movie, but the characters were just housing food throughout.
I guess that was the one. Yeah.
A lot of eating scenes, and what's the score? Is the final thing I'll say about it was the minimal off-key score, which kind of keeps you off kilter, off balance, which I thought was inspired, and it really worked. So I like this Enduring Love quite a bit, and I feel like it's
you liked it quite a bit.
I did.
I liked it a little bit.
I
like certain parts of it a lot. Yeah. And other parts I was like, all right, enough of this.
Yeah, well, I just said like the parts that I didn't like, which was too much of the movie, I think.
They leaned on it too heavily.
They did. Because he had enough going on. He didn't need this Reese Ifans fucking up his life anymore. But I think that it probably all wove together nicely in the novel, I would imagine.
Probably.
I think that was perhaps the issue. So,
did you stick around for the bonus scene in the middle credits? Because it was cringeworthy.
No. What? Did I?
There was a scene in the middle of the credits that...
Really?
Yeah. I would describe it to you, but it's a complete spoiler, so...
Oh, maybe I did then. We'll have to talk about it off air, because
when
I watch a movie at home, I just let the credits roll. I never get up and walk out or turn it off.
There's a character who winks at the camera.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Yes.
Oh, yeah, you saw it?
Yes.
That was upsetting. I didn't like that at all.
I forgot about that.
I didn't like him being alive. I didn't like him winking at me.
Okay. Yes, I forgot all about that. Yeah, so why do they have to show us where he was? I didn't care.
Are they trying to set up a sequel? I'm serious.
What was the point of that? Yeah. He's still trying to let go, I guess. All right. It's all about letting go. I think the message was fuck the kid.
Fuck them kids.
All right. What are we doing?
Do we need to take a break for any reason?
I don't think so. I think we're good. I think we're good. So let's go to another one. What do you got?
A much more enjoyable film. Mm-hmm. Weird. The Al Yankovic Story. 2022 film.
Avery, have you seen this yet?
I have not.
Get the fuck out!
I know.
Just get the fuck out!
Directed by Eric Apple. This is feature debut.
Appel, apparently.
Oh, is it? Oh, Eric Appel. Pardon me.
I was shamed.
Feature debut for Mr. Appel. Starring Daniel Radcliffe as the, wait for it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Titular. Al Yankovic, Evan Rachel Wood, Rainn Wilson, Toby Huss, Julianne Nicholson, Al Yankovic himself, and innumerable cameos. I'm not going to give any of them away, but you're going to look forward to seeing
Madonna.
I don't know if that's a cameo.
It wasn't her. It was a joke.
Okay, well done. 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. You can stream this. 84.
You know what's funny is my time away from you. It's been, I guess, maybe a month, 3 weeks, a month.
It's been about a month.
I have not known a single Rotten Tomato score. So
Really?
I'm kind of interested when you're like, this one's, I'm like, what is it? Because he's my Rotten Tomato meter. I have no idea without Brian.
This is streaming on the Roku channel for free. You got to watch some ads, unfortunately.
Yeah, there should be a way to
I
watch
know,
it without
I would like to
ads.
pay
that
$3
seems
for that.
upsetting that you
Yeah.
can't.
Stoops.
Give me the $3 version. I
Do
don't
it.
want commercials. This rose from a Funny or Die sketch, which they decided should be a movie. It's a fake trailer, and here we are. This, Anderson, to me, nails the hardest part of this kind of movie making, which is the tone. The tone is admittedly all over the place. It's funny, it's absurd, it's serious to be funny, but it's all over the place. Wild shifts in tone, and for me, nailed it.
Yeah, so I Flickfest this one with
You son
with
of a
my other
bitch.
boyfriends, Tyler and Mike.
Had they seen it?
In your absence. Truth be told, it was a delightful Flickfession with those two fellas. Really enjoyed it.
Really?
And I
What did they do
did
that
not
had to be
know if
better?
you were alive or not at the time. And I did not let that stop me from having a great time
Good.
discussing this.
You know what? Power as if.
None of that's true. Well, it
Act
is
as if.
true that I had a great time Flickfesting it with. Well, Tyler hadn't seen it either. I can't get in a room where everyone's seen goddamn Weird. What the fuck's the matter with you guys? But yeah, Mike and I really enjoyed talking about it. And yes, so I forget what the point of that diatribe was. What was the point?
I was saying about the tone.
Yeah, the tone was great.
And not enough people have seen it
It was as if
in our lives.
so Appel, if that is how you say it, and Weird Al are the ones who wrote this, and it's as though they were trying to figure out, like, if Weird was a real serious character, like what kind of upbringing would need to take place to get him to where he is.
It's got a lot of walk hard to it, you know, formatically.
Yeah, which I didn't love. I love parts of a Walk Hard, but I didn't love. Oh, I should also. I remember what I was going to say. You might be delighted to hear this,
Please.
because this came up when I Flickfested. I have since seen you last, Brian.
We're fasting it right now.
I know I Flickfested before though with my other. I've seen UHF.
I've not.
What?
Never seen you.
I feel like you've talked. Who's my person in my life that's talking about UHF all the time? I thought for sure it was you.
I think
Not
it's
me.
Tyler.
Is it Tyler?
Tyler loves UHF.
All right. Well,
I am
Sorry.
shocked that Brian has not seen
I
it.
don't mean
I
to
am
let you know.
That makes no
shocked.
sense.
That seems like the type of movie he would have watched on repeat as a child. You don't know what it's. It's
No,
a
I
Weird
know
Al
it is.
Yankovic.
Let's see where it's streaming. Oh, yeah,
You
oh,
gotta
the
pay for
Roku
it.
channel. Nice with ads. Fuck.
All right, so yeah, so go on with more of the talking about Weird, because I already did.
That didn't count.
Talk more about Weird.
We're talking about Weird.
All right, Weird. Favorite scene. Why should people watch this?
I loved all the stuff with the parents. I know I'm supposed to love all. Of course, the pool party is fantastic.
Pool party is amazing.
Pool party is wonderful. I enjoyed all the stuff with the parents. We just, I wrote it down. It was so great. We think it would be best if you stopped being who you are and doing the things you love.
I love that. Hey, Daniel Radcliffe. I had no idea this
was
kid
great.
had. I didn't know he had it in him.
He was great. He was funny. He played it straight the whole way.
You know why I didn't know he had it in him? Because I've seen him in exactly two things: Harry Potter 1
Oh no.
and Swiss Army Man. That's all I've seen him in. I don't think I've seen him in anything else.
Oh.
And now this.
Has he been in a ton else?
Not really. And Swiss Army Man, he's a farting corpse. That's all he does. He lays there and toots. That's all he does. The entire movie.
Very different. Than
Hard pass. I love this kid, and I love what he did with this role.
I laughed out loud when the mom tearfully discovered a loud Hawaiian shirt hidden in his bed. She's like, oh.
It really is like they put themselves in the mindset that there's an alternate universe where a Weird Al Yankovic character could be a real authentic person
And the biggest celebrity in the world.
and the biggest celebrity in the world. Like the twists and the fun that they had, especially without giving anything away. The Michael Jackson beat.
I know, I was about to say.
So good. It's just so inventive and clever and funny, and just this is exactly what this movie should have been, but it didn't. It could have easily gone left and just lost me and just been more, goof. Like it's goof, but it's well thought out, fun, clever.
For tone, does it feel at all like Lonely Island type stuff? Brigsby
It
Bear?
does feel a little Lonely Island. It's not
Not
as
at all
not as
Brigsby Bear.
serious as Brigsby Bear. But it's definitely got a Lonely Island.
It's got a
vibe to
more
it.
madcap comedy pace to it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like a pop star.
That's what. Yeah,
That's,
like Pop
that's
Star.
Lonely Island.
Oh yeah,
So-
there you go.
So it is. So it's kind of like a
Yeah, because Lonely Island
feel
tends,
to it.
tends to be a little bit more random for the sake of and maybe a little harder in the paint. But this one, it didn't need to be random because it had a target and it's stuck in its lane. I think, right?
Have you seen Walk Hard?
I've seen parts of it.
I think
Okay,
Rock
so-
Hard's very apt.
Imagine Walk Hard, but paced up about 40%, because that movie was a little beholden to the tropes of Walk the Line, Ray, all those big biopics that had come out. This one is more freewheeling, where it's like, let's pretend or let's imagine Weird Al is the biggest celebrity that ever lived. And he dominates the world of music and writes all his own songs. And it's crazy. It's madcap.
It takes
Yeah.
a page out of The Dirt. If you've seen The Dirt, Motley
Didn't see
Crue's
it,
The
but
Dirt,
I can. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it does. But it also,
Even with the pool party.
it also pushes it. Like nothing in this movie can be taken at face value. Nothing in this movie can be like, oh, that probably happened. It's maybe like, oh, some version of that happened.
There are people who watch this and they think it's real. There's people
Oh, really?
believe it's real to a certain point, and then it gets so
Okay.
over the top. But I love the first two acts. The third act, I
mean,
hadn't seen.
They had to go somewhere.
They did, and I think they did that because UHF ends with a Rambo.
Oh, really?
The entire
Okay.
end sequence is a Rambo parody. So I think maybe they're paying homage to the old UHF. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm reading into things, but it turns into a showdown with Pablo Escobar.
I do have written down here. It descends.
of course.
It descends into absurdity.
Yeah, it gets, and I didn't. The very end was not that satisfying for me. I also talked about this with the.
No one cares about that.
All right. Okay. I feel like people do because they've already heard it, and they're.
They didn't listen to it. I saw I wasn't involved.
Brian, just because you're in the hospital doesn't mean
Deleted.
you could have talked. Got on your horse and talked. You still hadn't seen it, even if we recorded that day when you were dying.
No, I've seen this.
You
This
had?
is ready to go. Yeah.
This killed
was,
him.
This was baked. This is what killed me. That's right.
Oh, I didn't report on your
What's that?
wife's very funny text.
Careful. What
I
you
thought
say
you
next.
did.
Maybe I did with
What
you.
did he say?
No, I
What'd she
think
say?
you said on the show.
Not with him though.
Oh, not with him. No.
See, it doesn't
See, it
count.
doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't count. Didn't happen without Bri.
Okay, so let's make it count right now.
Everyone who's watched the video feed too should, if you haven't already, taken in my Kubrick is Everywhere shirt.
It's a nice shirt.
I had a commission, collaborated with the great Ludwig von Bacon, and here it is in the flesh. Thank you for everyone who's ordered one so far. I like the idea of this image being out there in the
It's not
world. I
bad.
got stickers as well.
What is that skyline?
I think it's New York, but I mean,
Okay.
it's suggesting that Kubrick continues to
Beyond
have his
present.
fingerprints and omnipresent. Yeah. So Christy and I were texting back and forth quite
You
a bit
son of a bitch.
the night that you were almost dying.
Oh my God, you couldn't wait.
I know, I could not. I was talking about her sleeping arrangements. This is all true. I was talking about where she was sleeping and how that was going to go.
She was in a chair in the emergency room.
Right, but I was trying to figure out, like, hey, you got a place to stay, Christy? That kind
Wow.
of thing. No, it was
Crazy.
she was talking about how she was sitting on a hard plastic chair, and I thought cyanide had nicer equipment.
Cyanide.
Yeah. So then she gives me that thing that you hear from doctors all the time, where like, if you brought him in a minute later, would have been too late. It was one of those things, right?
The doctor did say backing up one step.
We should have
Christy's-
opened the show with all this.
I know. Christy's like, at the beginning. Christy's like, you're not doing well. It's 8 o'clock at night or whatever it is. I need to take you to the emergency room. I'm talking to your doctor, to our oncologist. And he says, yes, you should definitely take him. And I was pleading with Christy, please, just let me sleep in my own bed and then we'll go in the morning.
Yeah.
And of course, the word is he was probably, he being me, about 12 hours away from
Expiring.
it being all over.
They were talking about sepsis, which
That's why I was admitted.
Christy was texting me, and she's like, it looks like it might be sepsis. And I'm like, please tell me that's a nurse guessing and not a doctor telling you. Nothing against nurses, but, nurses.
Yeah,
my
you
mom
want to
was
hear
one,
it from
yeah.
the doc.
And she goes, no, this is doctors like saying that he might have sepsis. And I was thinking, like, I don't know if Brian's body can take sepsis. He might be gone. Like, I really thought I might wake up that
Well,
next
healthy
morning.
people have sepsis.
Yeah,
Can,
I know. They're no longer healthy
Yeah.
once they have sepsis.
This is not an exaggeration. With everything I've been through, cancer, treatment, all that shit.
Me for 20 years.
The toxicity radiating off of you. This is by far the closest I've come to death.
Yeah.
Through everything else.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Right. And you almost did a show with me.
I almost did.
Yeah.
I was
and-
trying my best.
You had 12 hours. You could
I
have cranked
know.
out some pot.
Yeah, we wouldn't have done more than 3.
God,
I
that
would
would
give
have
you
been
9 more
that would have been my
hours
quota.
with your family.
It would have been my epitaph.
So yeah, I sent Christy and I texted back. It was probably 1 a.m, and she was still, I think I was the only one in her life who was
still awake?
Still awake. Yeah.
Probably true.
So when she said, sepsis has been ruled out, I'm like, thank God. So at least I could go to bed knowing that. And I did wake up numerous times in the night though, thinking like, is Brian still with us? Like I really didn't know. It was.
I was in a windowless room. I had no concept of time.
Yeah.
I was in the ER, a windowless room, ER for 24 hours.
Why they have you in the ER?
What do you mean? Oh,
Were they
because
operating
there
on
were not the OR, the ER, the
Right.
emergency room. There was
the
no
wing,
actual
okay.
hospital beds available
Gotcha.
until 24 hours later.
So yeah, I say to Christy, I said, can you imagine? He almost did a show with me, and she writes, he would have died doing something he mildly tolerated. I might have butchered it, but it was something along those lines.
That's very funny. You got to be able to find that.
I don't know.
How often do you text Christy?
But we text a lot after
That's.
that.
I don't know if I like
He's
that.
got to check in on the mother of his daughter.
You son of a bitch.
Okay, so I say, he was about to do a show with me. Can you imagine? The dumbest way to die, podcasting. And she writes, I don't have words. He died doing something he moderately tolerated.
I think I gave her that line.
Look at you.
And I'm pretty sure I can.
I
remember
don't
that
think so, Brian. You were fast asleep.
one. What time was it?
All right, so
In your fever dream, you're waving her over
I can punch that up for you.
for your last word.
Oh, that was the next morning, actually.
I think I gave her that one.
You might have. I don't.
I had
think
no
so.
concept of time.
No, yeah, I don't. I have no concept of time.
No, seriously, I was in and out of consciousness, and there was no light, natural light, so I have no fucking idea what time it was ever in that 24 hours.
All right. Speaking of no concept of time, I can't figure out when I was texting. I know I was texting very, very late with her.
Jesus. Top 5
I
near,
wasn't that late. 12 a.m. We
that's
stopped.
not bad.
No.
Top 5 near-death experiences.
No.
Come on.
No.
It's a good one.
No. I mean, that'd be like doing like if one of us went on vacation and we did an entire episode around like that location or something. It's too self-serving.
Coming up next.
Later this week, we'll be doing top 5 Icelandic scenes shot in Iceland, and it's good. It's a good one. It's funny because you see these scenes and they look otherworldly, and then when you're like, "Oh my God, that's a real place that I could go visit," that's what this top 5 is going to be.
That's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to say, but Iceland, as I did my research, and you've been there, so I'm curious in your perspective, seemed very cinematic. Like,
Yeah.
it's a great place. There's a reason people
know what's
shoot a lot of scenes there.
Funny is I was thinking about Lord of the Rings the whole time I was there. You
Okay.
can't not think about Lord
Why?
of the Rings,
Why is that?
but they didn't shoot. You always hear about
New Zealand,
New
yeah.
Zealand, yeah. Turns out J.R.R. Tolkien himself lived in Iceland for years
Oh,
while
shit.
writing Lord of the Rings.
There you go.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. All right, let's get out of here. They serve horse there.
It's horse, shark.
They serve horse. I didn't eat any
Ammonia
horse,
shark.
but I heard from some newlyweds who were on their way out that it was the best meat they'd ever had. And I never, but their horses are so chubby and cute. And I guess they're Icelandic horses. They don't let any other horse line in there.
Interesting.
You can't have another horse in there.
How about that?
You know the only animal that's native or kind of native? Arctic fox.
Oh,
That's it.
is that true?
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of bird.
They drifted over like 800 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Every other animal over there except for
Drifted.
birds.
I was going to say, speaking of ammonia, I had 2 kinds of pneumonia, viral and bacterial.
Oh, you got both.
I had both.
So you can fix one with the Z-Pack. The other one you're just out of luck.
Yeah, I had to ride it out. It's pretty bad.
Which one? Yeah, if the viral, I think you can't do anything. If it's bacterial, you can take the
I think they gave me medicine for both.
amoxicillin.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I was on amoxicillin. That must have been it. I was on an IV the entire time, which sucks because I couldn't sleep on my side, only on my back. And if I tried to lie on my side, that was hooked up to the monitor that would beep because the IV was reading as being cut off.
Well, can they extend your arm or something?
It's hard to do when you're asleep. And I sleep like this, kind of fetal position.
Yeah, like the baby that you are.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
All right, stick around, guys, for the next episode, top 5 scenes set or shot in Iceland.
Stick around. I mean, if you're a Patreon listener, you're about to hear it. Do you know how the show works?
No.
In a couple days, the rest of you will be
I've
getting
been very sick.
that top 5 Icelandic scenes.
Check that out. You guys only look at episode notes. Sorry if I forgot how the show works. Thanks, Rand, for assigning us Enduring Love. I can say, unlike many movies we see, certain scenes and elements that will stick with me for a very long time, if not forever. Weird. Check that out if you like our take on that. Take Today is the featured artist. They can be found at AndersonandBryan.com. Anderson and Bryan is the Instagram, The Film Vault on Facebook and Twitter, and the Film Vault Podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/The Film Vault Podcast. Thank you to all of our Patreon listeners. Thank you to everyone who's continued to tap the Amazon banner. We appreciate you doing all your holiday shopping. That's very, very cool. We'll be sure to recap just a litany of purchases, apparently, in an upcoming episode. Thank you, Giovanni, Jordan Wolf, Jordan Montgomery, Mitch Burns, and Mike Cole. Eddie's Antiques is around for all of your holiday last-minute shopping
Yeah, I got
needs.
your emails. We're shipping out this week.
All right. Eddie's Antiques on Facebook.
I would like to also add Cyber Manor. Cyber Manor is a weekly thank you. He's the one who's making our TikTok videos, and he's putting it. Have you seen any of them, Brian?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, they're fucking good.
Yeah, they're good.
He
I
puts
think,
work into those things.
If I may, I'm a little too close up, and normally I wouldn't say that because
That's
I
me.
enjoy it.
That has nothing to do with cyber.
I know. I'm telling you right now because we're talking about it.
All right. Well, I mean, you could tell me as I'm setting up the goddamn cameras.
If I zoom out.
There's no zooming out. No. I mean, you just have to move the camera back. There's no
Physically
zooming out. There's no
move-
zooms on these fucking webcams,
Don't
right?
like it. Don't like it.
All right. Well, I don't know why I'd be paying a compliment and saying let's add Cyber Manor to a weekly thank you because he's doing hard, good work for the program week in, week out. And you're like, I got some critiques. And it has nothing to do with Cyber Manor.
Don't involve him.
Not in the least.
Thanks, Cyber Manor. Appreciate you. Hey, have we got any dates coming up?
I do. I'm going to be at the Improv next Tuesday, the 13th, on a show called Ill Prepared.
All right.
So
Ill
half is
Prepared.
going to be improvising a set, and the other half will be material.
All right. Check that out. That'll be the 13th, Tuesday.
That will be Tuesday the 13th, yes.
At the Hollywood Improv.
Uh-huh.
All right. Check that out,
I've been
guys.
there before.
Invade the Decade is Avery's podcast. Check that out if you dare. And until next time.
Eric Kath is his actual name. Yeah. Cyber Manor's actual name. And he goes by Eric Kath on Patreon. So we should use one of those names as a thank you. He was having us just call him Eric. I'm like, Eric, I can't just say thanks, Eric. At the end of each week, it sounds weird.
Don't like it.
Winner from Van Gogh.